Gus, second degree.
All right, so I think every single motivational speech has been said. All emotions have flowed, so there's nothing much for me to share. Although I want to share this tidbit that I've shared with Professor and some of the guys that are older here. So back in '09, before Instagram and Facebook, there used to be what they call internet forums. Some of you may have been too young to know that. But at that time in '09, there was this ad. And the ad said 2 black belt champions and a UFC and an MMA champion opened the gym in Encino. So I remember walking into this. It was a small studio. For the old timers here, there was a guy there at the corner, right when you walk in. His name is Brian Perata, right? He was working at the front desk, and so I took my first class, and here I am, 15 years later, right? 15 years later, and you know, I think you guys all heard perseverance, hard work, to stick with it. That's all good. But I think one thing that is missing, you know, a few months ago, Harvard Business Review had an article, right? What makes a big CEO? What's the main ingredient in success? People will tell you it's hard work, it's perseverance. That's all good. But one thing that all of those endeavors does not have that BJJ has, it's humility, right? Because every single of you here, there's always someone who's always going to be better than you on any given day, right? Professor Crane, I've seen him win, I've seen him lose his MMA fights, I've seen him win, and I've seen him lose his BJJ fights. There's always going to be someone better than you, right? And if you follow my Instagram or Facebook, I'm pretty full of myself. But when I get here, I get tapped until today, and you know, it just keeps me whole. So I think that's the piece, that's the only ingredient that hasn't been shared, and it's humility. And that's why you guys are here. Because if you roll with someone with no humility, who's just there to smash you, you're not gonna stay in this school, right? And so lastly, what I want to share is, so back in '09, one of my first classes, Professor Humler was there and his partner was there. I was a fresh blue belt, and there was a white belt who was an MMA guy. And so I saw Professor there, and so we were rolling, and the guy pulled a heel hook, right? So a white belt pulling a heel hook on a blue belt. That split second, Professor gets up, right? I'm not gonna share his name. He said, hey, you know what? No heel hooks, all right? So right there, from 16 years ago, I knew that this was a safe place for me to be at, for all of you, right? There's a space, there's a place for athletes, there's a place for MMA guys, there's a place for competitors, and this is a place for just your regular 8 to 5 guy like me. So Professor, thank you. And lastly, Professor Joey. So, sexy legs, that came from Professor Joey. So that's forever etched as my name in this gym. Right here.